The housing market is sweating it out this summer. Mortgage rates just hit their highest level in more than a year. The 30-year fix just hit 6.81%, causing mortgage application demand to drop 3% year over year. But even as the housing market faces interest rate headwinds, Trex, one of the world's largest manufacturers of composite wood alternative decking and railing, just delivered record quarterly revenue of $418 million. Now, while investors zeroed in on short-term margin pressure, the company reaffirmed its recently raised full-year outlook. Stock is up more than 6%. Joining me now on a Fox Business exclusive, Trex President and CEO Adam Zambanini. Adam, it's great to have you here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Congratulations on the new role, by the way.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, let's talk about this company because, you know, the markets that you serve, outdoor living, Americans want to have that new deck, or maybe they need to redo a deck. How's business right now for you?
Business is great. So we're part of a $75 billion outdoor living market. You know, Trex's total addressable market's about $15 billion. And so the one thing that we've really focused on this year is the marketing piece in Trex versus wood. So really our goal right now is to convert wood. 1% share away from wood is $80 million in revenue for Trex, and 75% of the market is wood today.
What about the consumer? What are you seeing with the consumer? Are they willing to spend? Are they, you know, we know in the second quarter a lot of Americans got bigger tax returns because of the Big Beautiful Bill Act. Are you seeing that translate into sales for you?
There's been some of it, but I think the bigger piece has been we've been in that K-shaped economy the last several years. And so our focus is how do we continue to convert that wood, bring that entry-level consumer back. So there's been a lot of marketing focus and push around converting pressure-treated wood, southern yellow pine. So now that we've seen some more share move away from wood, we're actually moving up our time frame on our Little Rock, Arkansas facility about 6 months. So if you think about Trex decking, it's a great all-American story. 100% of Trex decking is made in America.
Yeah, and that is a great story. So the tariff situation didn't affect you, especially with lumber. You have not really had that problem.
There's a little piece of our railing segment that's affected with tariffs, but really not much at all.
Did that little piece get a refund from the government?
Not that segment.
Okay, just had to ask. All right, let's talk about revenue. You hit $418 million, but when your earnings crossed the tape, the stock actually took a hit, and that was gross margin pressure. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, the first part of the strategy since I've become CEO is let's build the foundation. Let's start to show the growth coming through here. Now, the one thing that we're picking up and we gained over time is we saw there was a nice increase in May, really solid growth in June, and we're seeing that as we move into quarter number 3. We're picking up capacity utilization here as the season moves on. As we pick up capacity utilization, we get more absorption, and therefore you'll start to see margins here will expand over time.
All right. So do you think at some point you're going to have to raise prices? I mean, certainly the inflation story has hit most companies. Is that the case for you? Or?
We will when, you know, from a targeted approach, from the consumer approach. So I think it won't be peanut butter spread across everything, but I think as we move out in 2027, if there's more inflation that comes our way, we will cover inflation with pricing.
So, you know, wood still represents, this is from your notes, nearly 75% of the decking market, and every 1% share gain is worth about $80 million in sales. So what's preventing homeowners?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is the education around it. So if you go to Trex.com, you will find a lot of tools around, kind of like when you shop for your car, you can go out and find out what the MSRP is of a deck. But when people break down the total deck cost, your substructure is the same. If you hire a contractor, 2/3 of the cost of its labor to build that deck. So if you go out and do it yourself and you look at the price of wood, it's actually not that much in terms of what the trade-up value is to move to a Trex deck. And within there, there's all kinds of features and benefits, whether you want to use it for marine applications or we have sun comfortable technology, makes it cooler underneath the sun or for your feet as you walk across the deck board. We also have products for fire applications. So on the West Coast, you see the Palisades fire and some of the things that have been happening there. We have products for all sorts of segments.
That's interesting that you're saying in particular, we've got these fires burning right now out in Spokane, Washington. So would that be a market that your products would be useful in? I mean, because that's a good point about these fires, whether it's Palisades or other parts of the country. I mean, hurricane destruction. I mean, that's when a company like you would, I would think, come into play. Unfortunately for homeowners, but
it is unfortunate, and we feel really bad about what's going on the West Coast, but we do have products for those segments. So that's one of the things in our portfolio that we continue to grow over time.
So you reaffirmed full year guidance, and then you gave revenue guidance for Q3, and that was above expectations for the street. Again, talking about the stock getting hit today, what is Wall Street missing right now with you?
I think if you start to look at this long-term growth initiative, we have the growth away from wood, right? So there's going to be that opportunity of $80 million for every 1% share away. But then there's a lot of consolidation and distribution. So we just recently did a distribution realignment within our category and segment. And so there's a tremendous opportunity to move people away from some of the tertiary brands within that category. And we think there's over a $100 million opportunity of that over the next 2 years as well.
That is quite the opportunity. Let's talk about the industry in general, but also how it affects you. So, we're talking about the wood segment or the cost of lumber, et cetera, but talk about the other components and also about labor costs, because now what we're seeing with the build out of these data centers, in particular, a lot of the same states that you're operating and selling into, we're seeing, there's a real grab bag now for these employees, for these workers. Are you having a difficult time getting the installers? And are the components, those prices, hurting you whatsoever?
There's a couple things to break down there. The one thing is, when it comes to innovation, we've been very strong on it. A lot of our products that we've invented the last several years, like our railing products, which is our fastest growing segment, everything has been made to be pre-assembled. So in the past, it would take about an hour for a contractor to put a railing section up. And now Trex railing, since it's pre-assembled, can be done under in 10 minutes. So we're trying to build products that are more consumer friendly and easy to use, but also contractor friendly from that perspective. In terms of the contractor piece and labor and attracting that, we're doing more on the education front to bring more people into the trades, because once again, that is extremely important. And if you look at the future and where it's going, that's where the money is to be made. The money is going to be made in trades, and we're in one of those industries.
And I think Meta said they need like tens of thousands of electricians, for example. But again, that takes away from the current housing, industry and the build outs there. Okay, so you're accelerating production at your facility in Little Rock, Arkansas. Talk about that.
Yeah, so Little Rock is going to be our lowest cost manufacturing site. It's built on 300 acres. We did this during COVID, where we found a greenfield opportunity because we ran out of space in our plant in Virginia and our plant in Nevada. So we needed a place to expand, and the Midwest made sense. Now, the one thing about that location is it's really a hub for many things. We acquire a lot of raw materials in that area. It's also will lower the cost of freight for people within that area. And also, the fastest growing part of the market is the Sun Belt market. So the southern part of the United States, you've seen a lot of people, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, have moved south. And then you also have southern yellow pine that's down there. So we think there's a tremendous opportunity. I call it our wood conversion growth engine in terms of when you look at Trex.
So it's the South, and it's the Midwest, and it's the Southeast, which is really where the population growth is, whether you look at the state of Texas or Florida or even Alabama, Arkansas. So, all right. Well, it's great to have you on the program again. Congratulations on taking over the company.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you next time. Adam Zambanini.